Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit amitheasshole and it's by user anyreality580. Am I the a-hole for refusing to sing at my brother's wedding? My 28 male brother, 33 male, will be getting married in the fall. The two of us are fairly close, more so in the past few years, which is to say that he is not ignorant about past events in my life. Recently, I got invited to dinner by him and his fiancée. The two of them were obviously buttering me up to ask me something the whole time before my brother finally told me. So, my fiancé and I have been talking and we'd really love it if you sang our first dance song. Just the one song. I know you don't really sing anymore, but I dug up some old videos of you singing and she loves your voice just as much as I do. This could be your wedding present for us. For background, I used to sing all the time. I formed a band with a bunch of my friends in high school and we were minimally successful. We had a YouTube channel with a few hundred subscribers and there were a handful of people that had their own recordings that were posted to their own pages. In this band was my best friend since 2nd grade, Mason, not his real name. Unfortunately, when we were 17, he took his own life. Additionally, I was the one who found him. The band dissolved almost immediately and our YouTube channel and all our own videos were taken down. Since then, I have never sang. Singing without Mason felt wrong, so I didn't. Not in the shower, no karaoke sessions, not at church, never. My brother knew all of this, but I wasn't sure if his fiancé did, so I started off with, "Sorry, I'll have to refuse. You know I don't sing anymore," in the interest of not totally ruining dinner. My brother was annoyed as hell at this. "Come on, it's for my wedding. It's just one song. I'm not asking for much here," and so forth. I continued to politely refuse and left soon after. Shortly after, I started receiving countless calls from my mom, who also knows the reason why and decided to harass me about not singing. "It's your brother's wedding. I think you really should see a therapist about this. We all love your singing voice and it's been 10 years since any of us got to hear it." The two have since decided on a new tactic by saying that my song will be a good way to honor Mason's memory. The point about therapy aside, I've been to lots of it. I am at peace with my decision to stop singing. Am I the a-hole for refusing? It's clearly important to them. No, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole. It's your voice and you get to do with it whatever you want, whether that be singing or just talking. And up until the end there, my only question would have been if singing was something that used to bring you joy, something that was part of who you were, and you're not doing it anymore because it feels wrong in a grieving kind of way. And that question would have been not because of your brother's wedding, but because of your grieving process. But in the end there, you say that you've been to enough therapy regarding this issue, and you're at peace with your decision to stop singing. And that's all I need to know to say that I don't think you're the a-hole for refusing to sing. Again, if you're at peace with this decision, then it's yours to take and nobody can try to guilt you into doing otherwise. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Big Stash Dad says, "It's your voice and your choice. Your brother, mother, and more than likely your brother's fiancé know why you no longer sing. Just because it's a wedding doesn't mean you must revisit your trauma. Not the a-hole." Shahox says, "If they were trying to encourage you for altruistic reasons, then I might have more sympathy for them. But they just want you to sing at their wedding for their own selfish satisfaction. How sad that they won't take the first no as your answer. By hounding you to do it, they are showing you that your feelings and trauma mean little to them. I would refuse to talk to them about it anymore and walk away if they continue. You deserve better." Jellico Alpha 31 says, "I will not now, nor will I ever sing at my brother's wedding. And given how insensitive and soulless everyone in this family is acting about the trauma I have related to the death of my bandmate, I don't think it's a good idea for me to be involved with the family for the time being. As for my brother's wedding, I will not be attending. He asked me, I said no, and he threw a temper tantrum and ran to his mommy like an immature toddler, so no matter what, I won't be there and nothing anyone can say or do will change that. I am disgusted and disappointed by the behavior of everyone in this family and I don't want to be around any of you right now. Not the a-hole." Disastrous Nail 640 says, not the a-hole, to your brother. You say, you're actually asking for a lot. You're asking me to relive trauma, and that's never okay to ask of anyone. Regardless though, no means no. I will not be discussing this further. To your mom, I'm sorry brother involved you in this, but it has nothing to do with you. I will not be discussing this with you or anyone else anymore. This is an extremely personal decision for you. It's fine that he asked. It's not fine that he's pushing it, involving others, and demanding it. Sometimes Kip says, not the a-hole, but your family is. I'd be tempted to turn his wedding into a memorial for Mason with slideshow of Mason and the band and sing something like Hallelujah. But I'm petty like that. I get triggered by wedding requests. People, get over yourselves and your weddings. Opie's edit. To clarify, I have really only ever performed with Mason. The joy I got from performing was not the act of singing itself, but from performing with my best friend. Opie's comment. Okay y'all, this is overwhelming. Let me throw a few things in one. 1. I don't know if my future sister-in-law is aware of the full situation or not. I'd like to think she doesn't, but I'd rather not poke that hornet's nest until I have to. 2. Yes, I have been to therapy. Singing is something I did with Mason well before we started a full band. It very much feels like a part of my life that belongs in the past. As I said in the edit, my joy is not from singing, it's from performing with him. 3. Is that what Mason would have wanted? I don't know. He's not around to ask anymore. 4. The extended family is not blowing up my phone. It's 2 people and it's not blowing up. My mom called repeatedly in one day and has tried to throw it in a few times since. My brother is mostly giving me the cold shoulder. It's only been a few weeks since this conversation took place. 5. To whomever said it's been 10 years, you're not good enough at singing at a wedding, thank you. I genuinely laughed at this. It's a good point too. I'd probably sound like a donkey kicked me in the throat. And 6. No, I don't post a lot. This is a throwaway I barely use. So the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and I think his reasons are solid. So now let's move on with the first of 2 updates we have for this story. This is premature, but since the post I made was more popular than I expected or wanted, I thought I'd give you a small update. Future sister-in-law reached out to me because her washer broke and she wanted to come over and do a quick load of laundry. I wasn't thrilled about this, but I live close enough. I have in-unit and the laundromats in our area are not the safest. I was content to just watch TV silently in my tiny apartment while we waited, but she of course had something to discuss. I thought for sure she'd be the third person to try to convince me, but no. Instead, she told me that she wasn't sure if my brother was giving her the full story. She told me that he used to sing all the time, he was in a band, but he quit when the band broke up, which is technically true, but come on. I also learned that he had told many of his friends this too, about how he's always trying to convince me to come around and sing for all of them. He had literally never asked before the conversation, but was prone to making comments like, "Boy, it sure sucks you don't sing anymore. I know a lot of people that would want to hear that." So I very briefly told her about Mason, just the important bits. That I used to sing with him, then he died, so I don't have any desire to do so anymore. She didn't say anything for a while, but I saw her face go through about a dozen different emotions, and I'm pretty sure that she settled on anger. Before she left, she just told me that she's going to tell my brother to get someone else to sing. I got the distinct feeling that it's not going to be a very pleasant conversation. So that's it so far. All quiet, fingers crossed. Well then, let's not waste any time and just move on to the final update to see how this story ends. I cannot believe that this is still a thing, much less one that people are interested in. Lucky me though. Because the overwhelming support I received here convinced me to do some things I definitely wouldn't have done otherwise. New things happened pretty quickly, but I held off on a new post because my last one was premature. Some things people predicted happened, other things did not. Let's get this out of the way up front. The wedding is still on. The wedding will always be still on. This was never in doubt. I think a lot of commenters vastly overestimated my importance. After talking with my future sister-in-law, I did not hear anything from my brother, at least initially. I did eventually get a short text from her just saying that I shouldn't worry about the wedding anymore and they'll find someone else. My mom was another story. She called me repeatedly since I ignored her first few calls, and when I finally picked up, she was about 2 steps below screaming into the phone. She went on about how I interfered in your brother's relationship and made things so much harder for them. And, do you know how upset he is right now? It's time to put grudges aside and make amends. It was not a especially long conversation. I feel it is important to provide some context for my mom. I've seen some comments about she has clear favoritism for my brother. Strictly speaking, I'm not sure that's true. Over the years, she said or did some things to my brother that has at several points caused him to go no contact with her. Some of these I fully understood, others created some questions. As a result, my mom tends to overcompensate when it comes to him because I think she's terrified of getting cut off again. I did a lot of self-reflection over the next few days about my relationship with my family members, and I decided it was time to have a very honest conversation with my brother. I booked a bonus therapy session specifically about preparing myself for this conversation. I called him up and asked him point blank if, knowing I will absolutely not be singing for him, he still wanted me to attend. He didn't answer for a bit, but eventually he said yes. I remembered a bunch of comments that said he may still try to pull something at his reception anyway, using public pressure to announce me as the singer. I personally didn't find that to be especially likely since my brother is a big planner and scheduler. Regardless, I realized I no longer trust him like I used to and said as much, and that I will only be attending the ceremony, not the reception. He had a minor freakout over this. Are you effing kidding me? But then said it was whatever and that I needed to come up with a concrete excuse for my absence so that BS doesn't overshadow everything. Fine, whatever. And that I could no longer be his groomsman since that would leave an empty chair at the head table. We hung up shortly after and have not spoken again since. Something that hasn't come up before, we both have 2 other brothers, 35 and 26. Neither live in the same area as us. My younger brother lives on the other side of the country and we don't talk especially frequently, so I don't know what, if anything, they had heard about the situation previously. Well, because he kicked one of his brothers out of the wedding party, he decided to replace the other 2 as well because it wouldn't look right to just have 2 out of 3 of his brothers as groomsmen, so instead opted for 0 out of 3. Our eldest brother got kind of bratty about it. He included all 3 of his brothers in his wedding party when he got married and is mainly pissed about the non-reciprocation, but never asked nor received the full story on our feud. I don't specially enjoy talking to him, so if he wants to blame me for getting booted from the wedding party, that's fine. My younger brother, on the other hand, made it his personal mission to extract every single detail possible from all parties. He called me up to get my side and then decided he was going to join me in skipping the reception. He has decided to start brainstorming an excuse for the both of us. Honestly, I think he was just looking for an excuse not to go anyway. He despises family functions. At this point, I am praying for no more updates. This is just effing absurd. The wedding cannot come soon enough. Now, this last part is not related to the update, but instead to the comments and DMs I received. I have tried my best to be civil with the many comments of, "Is that what Mason would want?" or "Have you tried therapy?" We are now 3 posts deep on this nonsense. I'm not going to be trying so hard at civility anymore. Also, a reminder, singing was a hobby. I gave up a hobby. I was not on the cusp of making it big. I did not throw away my dreams. This was 5 dudes screwing around in a basement on weekends and occasionally playing at a bar, fair, or coffee shop. For what it's worth, I still listen to music and even pick up my bass again on occasion when I'm bored. Therapy is not an undo button on grief and trauma. I am not the same person I was before he died, and I will never be again. Therapy is about accepting this and the new person I've become, not going back to the way things were. New OP model does not include singing. Well, OP, I agree with you. This whole thing turned into a lot more drama than it should have been anyway. But at least it seems to be somewhat over, and as soon as the wedding happens, it'll definitely over. So in the meantime, here's wishing you the best, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. Now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and is by user endflimsy5850. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to suck it up around my clown figurines? Me, 26 male, and my girlfriend, 24 female, have been dating for 2 years. Since we started dating, she's known that I love clowns. I have several porcelain clowns displayed around my house on walls, hung from the ceiling on little swings and on shelves. I adore these weird little creatures. Well, last week I bought 2 Venetian masks from the thrift store and they're in great condition. I got them for a decent price too. She hates them. She said they're creepy and give her bad vibes, whatever that means. I told her that I would take down the masks when she's staying the night, but I'm not getting rid of them. She told me that was fine. Yesterday, she got up and told me that we needed to talk. She told me that she's sick of seeing my weird decorations and clown toys everywhere, that they're ugly and creep her out. I asked her where this was all coming from because she has never mentioned my clowns before, and she said me bringing those ugly effing masks into our home was the last straw. And my obsession with clowns was charming before, but now it's just disturbing. I told her that I would take down the masks when she was over, but 1. This isn't our home, it's my apartment. And 2, she's known about the clowns for years, and to try to stop me from decorating my place how I please is controlling. She told me, either get rid of them or we're done. I told her to just suck it up while she's here. I also told her that if she can't, then I'll come to her place every week. She didn't like that answer and called me a child before leaving. I texted her to apologize for telling her to suck it up about the clowns, but she hasn't responded me. So am I the a-hole for telling her to suck it up about my clown figurines? No, OP, of course not. You like them, it's your place, you get to decorate it however you want. My only question would be that if you do ever move in together, what's gonna happen to all the clowns? But in any case, her ultimatum of either choose the clowns or me, I think it's really ironic considering she's acting like a clown. But I definitely pick the figurines before an ultimatum. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Fun Effective 6846 says, not the a-hole. As someone who isn't into clowns but loves Venetian masks, I can understand being creeped out by some of them. However, her turning this on your entire interest for clowns that you've had your whole relationship makes her the a-hole. Also, if she's giving you ultimatums over how you decorate your own place based on your own interests, she's not the one. There will be someone who will appreciate your collection, if not add to it themselves. And OP responds, the crazy thing is, she has bought me little clowns before. She found a print of 2 clowns kissing at an art fest she went to and she picked it up for me. Alien Overlord 1001 says, not the a-hole. Like what you like, but I don't actually know anyone who wants to live in a creepy clown house, so don't be surprised if you have trouble finding another girlfriend. And Ryan Talk says, I think she steps into a-hole territory because of her delivery. But honestly, it just sounds like you guys are not compatible. This probably came up in the first place because she is thinking about the future and what it would be like to live together and realizing that it isn't going to work. Not the a-hole. Okay, well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I wanted to clear up some things I saw in the comments. I had a small collection started by my grandparents when I was a baby. That's where I got my first swing jester. The collection has grown in the last 2 years to expand to common decors and not just dolls. For the update, she saw the post, she read the comments and called me today. She wasn't too happy about being called the a-hole, but she apologized for being controlling. Turns out, she wanted to see if I'd get rid of my collection if it meant keeping her. Like it was some relationship test. Note, she did really hate the Venetian masks and didn't like that they are hanging above my bed. I told her that if it came down between her needing me to get rid of them or sell them for expenses, then I would of course do that. But I'm not just going to get rid of my collection because someone says so. She asked if we could move on from this and I told her no. I don't like that she tried to test my love by asking me to get rid of my collection. She left. We're officially broken up now. On the bright side, I can fill my house with more clown dolls. I even found a music box one online that I might get. Thank you everyone for helping me figure out that I wasn't in the wrong. And to those saying I'm a serial killer for owning clowns, I've read quite a few comments from people collecting dead things, so I think I'm in the clear on that. Well, OP, I think you dodged a bullet. In my opinion, testing somebody's love is just stupid. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe